All right. Let's see how this works. Third time's a charm. Come on. Come on. Come on. Says adding. All right. I might actually. Hey. Hey. Third time's a charm, baby.
Holy mackerel, what an effort.
So not worth it.
Not
Well,
worth
happy Father's
it.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. So here's what happened. We attempted 3 times to do a promo video over FaceTime, and all 3 didn't work. So then we decided to try and go Facebook Live, and I tried twice so far, and that didn't work. But here we are. So, Dad, this is my dad, Thomas C.
Hey,
Barry.
hey.
Happy Father's Day, Pop. And we're on here. I've already kind of chatted a little bit about it, but here I wanted to wish everybody happy Father's Day, and
Right.
everybody who's a kid of a father. Hopefully you made your dad feel special, and talking about the river. So
Uh,
released today. A bunch of the people on here have actually already listened to it, which is pretty cool, and we're sharing some love. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about the song. So we I mean, what's interesting is that I used to watch you perform as a little kid. And it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is when, as human beings, we see what what we're capable of. And for me, seeing you on stage as a little kid, singing and performing, it wasn't like, oh, I want to do that. It was more like, oh, I can do that. Like that's something that we can do. And I just wanted to say thank you for that, Pop. It gave me the courage to know that that was something that I was capable of, and it looked like a lot of fun too.
yeah, it was. But you may have hit on something there. There are a lot of kids out there who are children of actors who are also actors. I think of Lloyd Bridges and the Bridges Boys. And the story is that whenever his sons would get a part, his father would come up to him and say, "You got anything for me?" And
You're nothing like that, Dad. I know that.
oh, believe me, if I thought I could hit somebody up for a part in the show or something, I'd be all over that. There's something to be said for. I mean, I grew up watching my mom sing and act in different plays. So as you just said, I knew it was possible that I could do that. And from early on, I was in school plays and then competed in choir and solo fest in high school. And getting older, performing in community theater, and I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, you grew up seeing me do that, but I don't want anybody to think it was because of some altruistic view that I had that my child needed to see me do this. So I did it because I love doing it.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's what you inherit is the desire to do it and do it as well as you can. And there's nothing second to the adoration of an audience for a performance well done. It just warms the cockles of your heart wherever they are.
I was thinking about because this is your first like recording that's out there in
Oh yeah.
like Spotify and basically distributed all over the world. But and also when I think back about being a young kid, I remember your mom, Grandma Barry, showing me your record, and
Ah,
I don't remember the year. You can tell me the year, but for me, I thought that was so cool that you performed and it was on a physical thing, like that, and it would be available forever. I thought that was so cool, and I think that again in the back of my mind made me think like, oh, I could maybe do that. Like I could record and I could put something out there like that. What was that for? Do you remember?
I went to Badger High School in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and Esther Soderberg was our choir director. She was a nice, mean old lady, if you know what I mean. She could direct the heck out of a choir. And every year, as a fundraiser, we would put together an LP and we'd sell it, so that I have 3 years of high school choir in album form. And it was a pretty amazing thing to have. The only one that has still survived all these, 50 years later, 60 years later, is the one from 1964. I think it was my junior year in high school, maybe my senior. No, I graduated in 65. So 64 would have been either the spring of my junior year or the fall of my senior year. But quite a little memory to have.
So cool. I remember The King and I being a little kid, and that was the first play that I ever was a part of. And as much as I used to like look up there and see you perform and be in awe of it and feel like, oh, maybe that's, as a little kid, that was maybe something I could be a part of. I remember being just I must have been what, kindergarten or something like that. But I remember being a part of it and being so kind of excited that I got to be on stage. And it was the scene where the king comes in and yells at all the little kids, and I remember crying because it felt so real. Like, and obviously that's acting. I didn't really get that part of it yet, but I couldn't. I was like, why was he so angry? We were just up there to be a part of this. So it's kind of cool. Like, even if you think that maybe you're meant to do some of this type of stuff, it doesn't mean that it comes naturally.
Oh
You
yeah.
kind of have to work through it. Do you remember why we chose the river?
I think I think we were given that
Hmm.
song by the choir director.
Adrienne Redding?
Adrienne Redding picked it and said, "I think you guys would do well with this."
That's cool. Like, so we, was it that same year, or maybe, no, the previous year, we had actually been on stage together, where we did Fiddler on the Roof. You were
Oh
Tevye
yeah.
and I was Model, the tailor. Um, and then when this came around, I know that I had planned, it was called Dessert Theater at Fillmore Central School. And it was basically like a talent show, and they'd serve dessert, and you could choose like contemporary songs to sing. And then we did some choir things too. And I remember I was really nervous because it was going to be my first, band experience, because I was going to do Stairway to Heaven with Tobin Keeler, and he was on electric guitar, and Ed Zarnecki was going to play acoustic. And so that was, I was really focused on that, because it was like my first real like rock star moment. Oh, you remember Teddy from Andover?
Oh yeah.
He just wrote, "Loved having Mr. Barry as my director my senior year at Andover." It's cool.
Uh,
That's awesome. Thanks, Teddy. He wished you a happy Father's Day as well.
Great.
But it's just weird to think, like, that moment on stage with you performing that song, and I had your Oklahoma polyester rhinestone costume from when you were in Oklahoma, and I think you had like a little southern or a country shirt on as well. But I just remember it being really special. And what's weird is that, like, I was really into kind of alt rock back then, so Garth Brooks was corny, that was country music for me. Like, well, wear a cowboy hat and sing, and but I always, sing sad songs or something like that. But that song really, um, I think we crushed it, to be honest. I
ah,
think we crushed it, and my memory is that everybody loved it and everybody was clapping, and it was a really
you just
special
keep
moment.
that memory,
And
son. Those are great memories to have, even if they're only on in your brain.
Exactly.
I remember people standing up and clapping for me. Well, yeah, yeah.
The floor was shaking.
Oh,
Everyone, they still talk about it to this day.
they could hear that all the way in Rochester.
But I do think it was pretty good. And as much as I was excited to be in a band like experience for the other one, I think the one that actually shined the most was us doing that together.
Yeah.
And but I didn't think much of the lyrics. I just loved singing it, and it was a cool song to sing and do the harmonies. But as we come, it was, I mean, honestly, I think it's almost 25 years, like to the day, that we put that out. And, when we recorded it this spring together, it was really moving, thinking about the words. That's one thing I try and chastise myself because I have too much production in all my songs and I'm trying to make them sound so big. And I never really understood the simplicity of just a great song with great words, and that's actually all it needs to be. And so as we were recording it, I was pretty overwhelmed by it, because while someone might have chosen that song for us, that's really how you raised us. My
Well,
brothers and sister like to be a dreamer, and
you saying you were overwhelmed. I I had to stop 3 times because I was crying, for crying out loud. I mean, you cannot, if you just say those words as words of the song as poetry, forget the music and just say them. I know there'll be rough waters, and as you get older, you realize you came through rough waters, and you know that the song means so much more than just a song.
mhm.
It's kind of a testament to how to live your life. Yeah, things are going to be rough. Yeah, you're gonna sweat and you're gonna cry and you're gonna worry about everything that went on in your life, but you can get through it. You can come out the other end. You can be stronger. You don't have to let weak people rule you. You can do it. And that becomes important when you look back on your life and say, yeah, I didn't let the pansies of the world drive what I felt was uh, acceptable behavior. I set the bar high and I tried to achieve it. Did I? That's for somebody else to decide. But I didn't take the easy path. I knew it was going to be tough, and I did it anyway. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think that it's too easy in this world to find the easy way through things. And we would do very well to struggle, because the struggle makes us strong.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. You've I said this to you earlier in a conversation, but it's just something I've been thinking about a lot. Is that you set us up to be dreamers,
Hmm.
but you also let us know that you can't just be a dreamer. You also got to be a doer,
Sometimes
and
you got to put the foot down. Yeah,
yeah, so you got
you
to
got to actually do.
chase it. You can't just dream it.
Right.
And so I try and do more doing than just dreaming these days. And yeah, just singing those words. You really don't. There are the types of songs out there that teach you how to live, and
Sure.
you know, give you a different perspective. And yeah, for that, I'm really grateful for great music, and I'm grateful for having a great father like you.
Thank you, son. I'm thankful for all the dads out there who are willing to put in the time and effort to be a dad that their kids would look at fondly in years to come, and look back with thanks for their sacrifice.
I wish I could.
Ah, someday maybe you'll meet somebody that'll go the extra mile for you, son.
I'm just kidding. You know that, Pop. Well, I sure love you, buddy. Thanks
I
for
love you
taking the
too.
time here today. Everybody out there, happy Father's Day. If you can, please go find our song, The River. It's wherever you listen to music: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. Ask Siri or Alexa, just say Patrick Berry, The River. And we will be back soon. Love you, Dad.
Love you, son.
All right. Talk
Bye
to you
bye.
guys later.